So I decided to start this brand new YouTube channel podcast, and where I interview people based on their work and life. And rather than starting the channel, interviewing other people and asking questions that I kind of want to test first. So I was like, why don't I just film myself answering these questions? All right. And this podcast channel, video podcast, will improve over time. We're starting a little humble here. Little setup is, is a Zoom mic, a portable Zoom. I kind of want to make it so portable, the setup, so that I can visit like YouTube studios, or I could visit people's places rather than them visiting me at the office. And it's not too overbearing with so much equipment. So I'm basically filming with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Got some portable, what's this, H4n, and yeah, simple setup, ring light, and we'll go from there. So welcome to the Work Life Podcast. All right. And the intro I'm gonna do with other people will be like, "Welcome to the Work Life Podcast, where we talk about work, talk about life, and all the lessons in between." I'm here with, and then I would introduce the person. But in this case, I'll introduce myself. My name is Dizon Mendoza. That's one name I go by online, and I am a YouTube channel developer. I basically own and grow YouTube channels and help other channels grow in profit and in audience development as well. And so that's my spiel. I own and manage 16 channels of my own, and I also help a lot of other channels that's growing, and I'm just excited for 2024. I also go by another name where I market myself as a songwriter, which is Gabriel Bautista. So that's interesting. That's a brand new thing. It just became public. Like maybe like 2 weeks ago. I just decided to let everyone know that that's the name of the artist that I'm going by for music. That way, Leo Dizon Mendoza is still connected to, just YouTube channels and YouTube channel development. I really want to brand and market myself as that because that's what I do mostly. So, I like the questions right here. Here we go. I'm probably not even going to edit this video. It's just the first video, just to start the channel. Let's see. All right, so how's work? All right, so that's the first question I'll be asking people. For me, it's great. Should I share certain things? Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I just landed a client that I'm really happy to be working with again. It basically a channel called Guava Juice and a channel called Wasabi combined forces into a channel called Spicy Fruit. And so I'm helping them grow that channel right now. And I'm just excited. I just literally started helping them a couple weeks ago. And what else work-wise? I'm also getting more like YouTube clients, meaning like through coaching or some other service that I'm providing. But I'm also recognizing that I need to hire more people, right? So right now I only have one person working part-time for me remotely. But my time, right, is capped. Like to have sanity, I could only help out these other channels for a certain amount of time a week. In order to serve more clients, I need to hire more people to help me serve those clients, right? Because my main goal is still to grow my own channels, right? So this is one of the channels I'm going now. And so I wish I could multiply myself. That'd be amazing. But that technology doesn't exist yet. So, oh wow, this first episode is going to be super awkward, but whatever. That's how, one thing I learned is just, especially when it comes to YouTube, just get started. I know it's cliche. I know people talk about it all the time, right? Just get started. Da, 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 da. It's easy for you, right? No, but I'm serious. You don't know what you need to learn until you get started. As soon as you get started, the things that you need to figure out will be revealed, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And so just get started and you'll figure out how to improve the videos, right? I'm a YouTube analytics geek. So I could literally nerd out on the analytics part about the YouTube video production process. But to have analytics, you have to create a video and post it, right? You don't have data unless you have videos to create the data for. Data for. So just get started. And I'll probably talk more about that as well. This is so interesting. I'm not used to talking this much. I'm used to asking questions. It's actually how I coach people, or how I help a lot of people is, I think it's called the Socratic method, where you help people learn things or guide them through questions. So I don't tell people what to do, right? I ask, what do you think of this? Which one do you think is more effective, right? So I'm not telling them do this, do this. I'm saying, have you thought about this, right? Because no one likes to be told what to do, unless they really trust the person. And in that case, those are probably the easiest people to work with, because they're like, all right, what do you want me to do? And you just tell them what to do and they'll do it, right? For those who don't know, before I did all this YouTube stuff, I was a teacher. And so it's crazy how that prepared me for what I'm doing too. We could go rabbit hole through there, but let's just keep on going with the questions I would usually ask. So, all right. So the next question is like, so how's life, right? Life's good. Life's good. What's interesting? This is like getting a little personal, but so when I decided to like start this new business last year, my whole focus on that, my whole like focus in life in general was just to make the business stable and have it generating revenue. And so that's what I did the past year. But if you go back a year past that, right? I used to be a channel manager for this other YouTube channel called Guava Juice. And I did that for almost 4 years. And even at that time, even though I was like trying to like have these relationships with people, my work was always still like my focus, right? And so now I bring that up because now that like, I feel like I'm in a good place, like work is good. I'm happy with the clients I have. I'm happy with the YouTube channels I have. I'm happy about the channels that I'm starting and developing. Everything work-wise is good. And I'm really good at focusing on one thing until it's like really developed, right? And now that work's good, I started thinking about like relationships more again. And I think I'm gonna open myself up to like dating again. Like prefer. Okay, I always joke around about this with like other people and family and friends and stuff, but it's really 3 things. If you know someone who fits this description, literally someone who's beautiful, someone who loves God, and someone who loves YouTube. It's literally those 3 things. That's it. It's really that simple. And it's easy to find one of those things, right? But to it's just 3. Like people have these like lists, like checklists of like all the things they're looking for in their romantic partners and stuff. But like those are the 3 foundations for me. If you have those 3 things, like everything else is a bonus for me. So shout out. It's not shout out. But I don't even know what I'm going to say after that. All right. Cool. Next question I want to ask is like, what lessons have you learned recently when it comes to work and in life? So for me, I guess we could talk more about what I just brought up, which is like focus for one, right? Like focusing on one thing until it's successful. Someone told me that's one way to think of the word focus. Literally, it's an acronym. It's F, follow, O, 1, C, course, U, until S, successful. Follow one course until successful. That's what focus is. And I think I'm pretty good at that. And I've learned, that's a big lesson I learned in the past year. It's actually, okay. For those who want context, it's January 2 of 2024. So, every year people think about like life and things that happen throughout the year and their goals in the future. I was going somewhere with this. Focus, yes. So I I've focused on certain things at work, right, in my business, and we're good now. Those things are done, and some things, are still growing, and I'm excited for those things. But for the most part, work stuff is good. I don't know why I keep on repeating this, but what were we talking about? I need to learn how to focus on the conversation. Um, what lessons have you learned recently? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the power of saying no, because as it relates to focus, you have to have the ability to say no to things that don't align to the vision you have in your head for your business, for your life, whatever it may be. It's not saying yes to more things. It's saying no to more things. So you can say yes to the things that actually matter the most to you. Once again, it's not about saying yes to more things. It's saying no to more things. So you have space in your life to say yes to the things that matter the most, right? Because just because you're moving around a lot, just because you're getting a lot of things done, doesn't mean you're doing the right things. And that's where leadership comes into play. That's where focus comes into play. It's not about getting more things done. It's getting the most highly leveraged activities done, right? For me, when you own a business or when you manage a team, you're always looking for opportunities to leverage your time, right? Because if you're constantly just doing the actual work, you're not opening yourself up to the opportunities to scale production, whatever it may be in your case, right? So I could either edit the video myself, or I can train someone, invest time into training someone to edit the videos. That way, I'm basically multiplying my time because now I don't have to edit the videos, right? I'm just saying hypotheticals here. And you do this with anything. Rather than you doing the actual work, when you're the leader of a business or an organization or a team, the more delegation, you could say, or automation, or leveraging AI, whatever it may be, the more time you could take a step back and focus on, well, like I said earlier, activities that leverage your time and can multiply production. One easy example I could think of is there's an AI software called Firecut. Shout out to Firecut. They actually approved me to be affiliate for them too. I'm not going to leave a link on this video, but Firecut is basically a add-on to Adobe Premiere where it can delete all those spaces you want in your video, and it could be as tight as possible. So rather than me or my editor or even the channels I work with, rather than their editors manually cutting out all these silences, you set certain settings in Firecut, and it could, with the push of a button, it's pretty wild. It could do it in like 5 minutes. And they didn't pay me to share about them or anything like that. They are affiliates. So if I do put a link, then yes, I am getting revenue from that. But you see what I'm saying? There's certain aspects of AI that is actually really brilliant, and it really saves time. Why? Okay, the first example I could think of is there used to be a time when people, even at the bank, I don't even know, 1950s, there was this thing called the abacus. My mom told me about this. She used to work at a bank. They literally had it. So old school to manage calculations. They literally moved it's an abacus, it's so old school, literally move move physical objects to keep track of calculations, whether you're adding 10 or 11 or whatever it may be. I think it's called an abacus. But there's a time, and now there's technology Google spreadsheets or a calculator even, where you just put the numbers in there and it automatically does it, right? So these are the foundations of AI has always been around. I know I'm going through like an AI rabbit hole, but AI has always been around. It's just more developed now than ever, right? Now, AI can learn on its own certain things. You give it parameters and it could do certain things. It could create videos. ChatGPT can write scripts, right, for video production. And ChatGPT will never be better than a top-notch professional writer. However, it can write a script that a writer can look at and get some inspiration from, right? And so, to sum this all up, it's better, especially if you're, once again, I keep on using the word leadership. If you're the leader of an organization, if you're running your own business, just recognizing that your best time spent is not doing, it's thinking. And that's hard, right? When you have fires, like I call them fires, right? And I'm not saying literally a fire. I mean, like, in businesses, in restaurants, whatever your business is, there's things that go wrong. And the first thing you could think of, right? And of course, it's important to take down the fire. But it's important to pause and then ask yourself, if fires keep on happening on a Tuesday, what are we doing on Tuesdays that's causing the fires? And so now you could go back and you're like, can we create a system to not have fires on Tuesdays? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because if you're constantly just putting out fires and not asking yourself why those fires are happening to begin with, then you're wasting a lot of the most leveraged time. That's why when I was younger, I used to, kind of criticize people in leadership or managers and things like that. Why are they getting paid more than the people who do the work? It's because it's challenging to be a good manager, a good business owner, right? And a leader's work, the truth is a leader's work matters more than the people they're leading. It really does. Because it's kind of like a captain of a ship, right? There's all these crew members to make sure the ship doesn't sink, but the captain has a responsibility to keep that thing going properly. And with his or her leadership, the ship goes to where the destination is. And that's the same thing for a business. Same thing for a YouTube channel. It's the person who's making the decisions. It's the people guiding the course that ultimately decide if a business is successful or not. The worst signs of a bad leader is a leader who blames their team members for a failure, because it's your job to help them succeed, right? And so if you set them up for failure, that's not their fault. That's your fault. And so taking responsibility that you're in charge. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to some other questions I was going to ask people. Let's see. All right. What has been going on in your life recently that you expected and didn't expect? I didn't expect to work with the team of Guava Juice again. That was unexpected. And it's a positive surprise, because I love working with the team, and most of the channels I grow that I own are educational. Yeah, right. I have a lot of faceless channels, and a lot of them are educational. And even the channels where I show my face are educational. So it's nice to work with other channels that are entertainment, and it's a nice break from the channels that I have that are a little more serious. I think I value entertainment as much as education now. Before, it really swayed on education, and I realized, there's so much value in just making people laugh and smile. And so going back to that, I'm happy to be working with Spicy Fruit. I'm excited for 2024 too. All right. What's another question? What has been on your mind recently? Okay, okay, moving forward, I'm gonna read the questions I have, and then I guess we'll realize together if it's a question worth asking people. Um, what has been on your mind recently that you hope to share with listeners? I don't like that question. Moving on. How do you feel about like a current event? Oh, okay. So basically, this is where I ask someone like if there's something like AI or some kind of topic that people are talking about. I ask the guests what their thoughts are on that. Currently, okay. One thing about me, I'll be honest. One thing about me is if it's not on YouTube trending, whether it's news or not, I am not fully aware of what's happening because I'm just focused on the things that I can control. I made a decision like years ago where I don't consume the news as much as other people because this is my perspective on the news. The news is like someone telling you there's a fire, but then not telling you how you can help. Put it out. That's what. So if you watch the news and it inspires you to take action and help people, then I think the news is very beneficial. But if you watch the news and all it does is paralyze you, you watch the news and it just makes you not want to get up in the morning or it makes you afraid to go outside, then I don't think the news is very beneficial. And also, I think one of the worst things you could do for me, this is one of the worst things. I'm only talking about myself, right? One of the worst things I could do in the morning is turn on the news or go on social media and see what everyone else is scared of. Because now, after consuming that media, when I try to do my work, that's in the back of my head. And now I can't show up at work. And then, if that's also in my head, when I spend time with my family or friends, now I can't even show up for them because I'm drained of negativity and negative emotions. So that's why I don't really know what's happening for the most part. I know in general because people talk about it. See, if people talk about it like physically, right in front of my face, then that's how you know something's important enough to share. But a lot of things in the news are just there to grab attention because that's what holds. There's a term in psychology called the negativity bias. Things that are negative holds our attention because it is a survival mechanism in our brain. And so, if you watch the news, a majority of it will be negative because that's what grabs attention. That's what holds our attention more than others. On YouTube, that's why most of the videos that are positioned in a negative way, have a thumbnail and title in a negative way, have a higher click-through rate, performs better, go on YouTube trending. The videos that, there's exceptions. But for the most part, positioning videos in a negative way, right, tend to get people to click more. And I guess, kind of taking advantage of people's emotions, but it's also recognizing how human psychology works to begin with, right? So it matters how you use it, right? All right, enough of that. What is your favorite? Oh, I'm gonna fix this. What is your favorite YouTube channel currently? My gut always says Mr. Beast. And the reason being I say is because I'm always learning stuff from Mr. Beast's videos. And he has a great team that all they do is make the best video possible, right? That's what Jimmy always says. The best videos possible. So that means the video editors are trying to make the best video edits possible. Thumbnail designers are trying to make the best thumbnail designs possible. The title writers try to make the best title. That's how you know someone really cares about their YouTube channel, is when they have a team of title writers. He has a team of title writers. Some people don't. There's one man I've been there. There's one man operations on YouTube where they do everything, right? They're the producer, director, actor, writer, video editor, they're everything. But imagine in a world where your channel is so big, you have a team of title writers. You have a team for thumbnail design. You have a team for every little thing. Guys, I think last time I listened to an interview, he said he has over 200 employees. It's pretty wild. All right, moving on. Oh, personal questions. This is my personal questions section where I ask, it says where are you from, but how did you get to where you are, or what's your origin story? I think that's a really good question. Yeah. So if I had to answer to that, actually, I was just interviewed for my friend's podcast. Shout out to Sophie Collins if you ever watch this. Like, she asks, how did you, basically the same question, like, how did you get to where you are, right? So, yeah, rephrasing. But let's see. I'll do the short summary of that question. Let's see. Okay, how far back do I want to go? Okay. All right. So my mom brought my brother and I to America, right? From the Philippines. And she, I guess, it's part of the story is, so she got remarried to my stepdad, and that's how we moved to Moreno Valley. Moving to Moreno Valley, I met two guys who are still friends to this day, AJ Raphael and RB Guzman. And AJ is one of probably the biggest Asian musicians on YouTube, right? And so I'm surrounded by all these YouTubers from the beginning. And some of these YouTubers are huge now, right? It's pretty wild. So from there, I did the typical trajectory. I went to school. I actually became a teacher. And while I was teaching, I was growing a videography company. And while I was growing this videography company, I was invited by AJ to this conference. Basically, Disney bought a company called Maker Studios. And Maker Studios was this company that had a lot of YouTubers within it. They were signed to this company, like MCN. Anyways, so I went with AJ to Florida for this conference, and I filmed video for him. And I was around all these YouTubers. And I'm like, I think this is what I want to do. So when I got back from that, I basically, what did I do? I just realized I didn't want to teach long term. And so, another crazy part was another teacher was retiring, and I had this out of body experience where I saw myself like in my 60s or 70s as a teacher, and I'm like, nah, that's not me. I saw myself in the future, and I was like, no, that's not me. And I love teaching, right? I'm teaching right now. I'm just sharing and I'm teaching things I've learned and whatever, but teaching in the classroom wasn't for me. And at that time, it was about to be spring break, I think. And I thought about it, and I resigned, put my 2 weeks in. And at the time, I was actually teaching special ed, and I was teaching through an intern credential program. So I was in process, I was thinking of getting my master's, right? And then after this whole YouTube thing happened, I dropped it out of everything. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do YouTube full time, but I just know in my heart that teaching in the classroom is not what I'm gonna do. And I don't like wasting time. When I know something, right? When I know something, I act really quickly. When I'm 100% sure and have peace about something, I act really quickly. And so it's like it's 100% clear. Like, so why would I waste even another week, right? Teaching when that's not what my vision of my life is. And so I resigned. And then I used to play these. Okay. Let me backtrack. I used to play these TED Talks for my students on Thursdays. And what's crazy is after I quit, 3 months later, while I'm building my videography company and slowly transitioning to doing more YouTube stuff, I was invited to do a TEDx talk at my school at UCR. And so it was like full circle where I stopped being the teacher who shared these TED Talks with the students to being the person on stage. And I just want to make 100% clear, like, there's nothing wrong with being a teacher. But if you are one of those people who know in your heart that you are meant to do something different and you're just teaching because you're scared, I want to encourage you. You could do whatever career you want to move towards, all right? Because the world, all these students, they need teachers who want to be teachers. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? I didn't want to be one of those teachers who were just there and not really caring about the students. So as soon as I realized I didn't want to be a teacher full time, then I took the step to leave. But before that, I love teaching. That was my life, right? And so, all right. So then the TEDx talk. Okay, and then we'll skip. So I'm building this videography company while doing YouTube stuff, right? And then I was going to work full time in Canada with a YouTube channel. I consider him a friend of mine now, Evan Carmichael, and I actually literally moved to Toronto, Canada. And my mom, we always laugh about it because we had a going away party, and going away dinner, right? And then I moved back I moved back to California a week later because there's a family thing that happened, and it just became like the tipping point in my head that I can't be so far away from my family. I can't be so far away from my parents and my brothers. And so I moved back. When I got back, you know, I've been building relationships with these other YouTubers, and a friend of mine, he's also one of the clients that I have now, Roy Fabita. Was AK Guava Juice was looking for a personal assistant. And then, well, this answer is super long, but I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna close off this episode because this is crazy long. All right. So he was looking for a personal assistant, but you know, and I saw it on Facebook. I'd never go on Facebook. I just happened and just check it, and then I saw it. I messaged him, and then he gave me an opportunity to be personal assistant. I don't think he knew, I don't think I shared my background of how I could grow businesses, how I grew my own business, how I manage people and things like that. So basically I asked him, in your dream situation, what do you want your channel to look like? And he's like, I know it's crazy, but what if we had a daily video for main channel, gaming channel, and I think a second channel, like a reaction channel or something. I don't really remember that part, but and so that night or the next night, I thought about, okay, how can we make this happen? I just wrote it on Google Doc, and I created a plan, and then I shared the plan with him. And then he's like, okay, I don't think you're the personal assistant. I think you got to help me manage these channels. And so that's how I went from personal assistant to channel manager in the same week. It's a crazy story. Shout out to you, Roy. You gave me a shot. And then, yeah. And so I helped grow those channels, and we did those daily videos for I don't know how long. So I was managing those channels, and then I ended up working for Guava Juice for almost 4 years, constantly doing the same thing. And within that time frame, I tried different roles. I was the director at one point, and that was interesting, right? But I think my Okay, I love serving people in a way that other people don't completely see. So I'll give you an example. Like, so for channels, right? It's easy to notice the person holding the camera or directing or being in front of the camera, but there's so many things about a YouTube channel that needs to be done, that people don't really pay as much attention to. And so those are the kind of things I like doing because no one else is doing it. And because of that, like I feel like I'm the most helpful. And so I no longer like label myself as a channel manager. I label myself as a channel developer because that's literally what I do. I can look at a channel and I can look at how videos are structured, how it's being monetized, right? Basically, how the operations and the business is ran as a YouTube channel. And I can look for ways to improve those things, whether it's the video editing, thumbnail design, A/B split tests, all these things, right? It's all the things that are not as obvious, but it's those little things that compound to make a channel successful, right? Not many people I'm such a nerd when it comes to A/B split test. I'm the kind of person who will A/B split test whether capitalizing a certain word will make the CTR better. I'm the kind of person who will A/B split test whether a question mark or a period or 3 dots will make a video perform better. I don't know. That's like, I love doing that stuff. I'm also the person who loves reviewing videos and matching the data from past videos, right? The data in past videos will tell you how to make the video editing better, to make a video perform better. I love that. That's why I do reviews too. So yeah, helping out the Guava Juice channel for 4 years. And then last year, so this is where we're getting closer to where we are now. So last year, something was telling me to like really just go all into my own channels. And and there's things that happen at work and kind of push me towards wanting to work remotely. But it's such a blessing because like what happened was, I'm pretty loyal. So I basically got fired because I wanted to work remotely and they wanted me in the studio. And if I wasn't fired, I probably wouldn't have taken that step of leaving and building my own channels. And so over a year, since October 1 of 2022, over a year ago, around a year ago, I basically stopped helping all the other channels I was helping, like a hard stop and a no matter who messaged me, no matter what. And just really focus on my channels because I wanted to prove to myself, for one, that I could grow my own channels. Number two, I think that's the biggest thing. And that's still in my heart what I want to do the most, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just growing my own channels while helping other people grow their channels. And we'll get to that. But basically, so I focused a whole year. And then as I was growing my channels, I just came to a point where I was like, I think I'm ready to help other channels now, right? I'm going to help other channels, maybe not full time, not like 40, 50 hours, but what can I do to help other channels with the time I have? And that's where YouTube coaching comes into play. So I coach people for a year now. I offer this coaching service for a year where I basically meet up with them once a month and I help them grow their channel for 1 hour a month, but then I also check in on them on Wednesdays and just see how they're doing and if they need feedback on anything. So that's one thing I do. And then number two, I provide other services. Now I do basically a very similar to what I did for guava juice. I do it for spicy fruit, but I removed everything. How do I say this? I help with everything I used to help with, right? Analytics, all these things. Except for production. I'm just not physically there helping film the videos, but I do everything else that I used to do on top of that. So that's what I'm enjoying. And in that format, I can help, channels like Spicy Fruit, I could help them grow their channels while still having the capacity and the flexibility and time to grow my own channels and do channels like what I'm doing right now. So that's how we got to where we are now. where I'm growing my own YouTube channels while helping others grow theirs. And it's been quite a ride. Uh, it's been quite a ride the past 5 years. And I'm excited, honestly, like the more I listen to this voice I have in my head to do certain things, to take certain risks, they always paid off and they always led to something good. Once again, every time I listen to that same voice that told me to leave teaching to do video production and YouTube led to something good. When I decided to build my own channels, it led to something good. Every single time I trusted that intuition. If you're a believer, some people call it the Holy Spirit or whatever you want to call it. Whatever that thing is, when I follow it and I obey it, it leads to something amazing. And when I don't obey it, usually something bad happens. So yeah, I've just been more obedient to that voice. So that's my long answer from where you're from. Look how many questions I have. Like, okay, so the timestamp right now is 42 minutes. I think I'm going to end this episode here. Next time you see a video on this channel, it's probably going to be interviewing someone else. And I just love conversations, talking about work and life. And I only asked myself like 5 questions, and I can't believe it's already been like 40 minutes. So it's going to be interesting how long conversations are. I guess I'll just learn. Once again, going back to the beginning of this episode, just get started and you'll figure it out along the way. You might have a plan, right? But then you got to adjust that plan as you're taking action. So yeah, these videos will get better over time. And I will get better over time. And oh, wait, wait. I have an outro. wait. Okay, closing questions. Okay, here are my closing questions I'm going to ask to myself. Where can people go to learn more about you? All right, so if I ask myself that question, I think the best place to find out is if you type Leo Dizon Mendoza on Instagram. It shows everything I'm doing under that name. I'm also sharing new music under Gabriel Bautista songs. So that's a thing. So yeah, those 2 things. And also, if you need help with your YouTube channel, you can go to leodizonmendoza.com and just, let me know what you need help with, and I'd be happy to start communication with you. Let's see. And my growing team, I'm excited that I'll be hiring more people. I'm excited because it's fun and it's really independent to work on your own, but you need more human contact. That's one thing I learned in this year. And so I'm learning that side note, growing a business, you need more people and more technology, more software. And especially if you're serving people for like YouTube specifically, your time is capped. So if you want to serve more people, you have to either hire more people and or create things. Oh, that's one thing. I'm currently working on a book with my assistant, Chriselle, about growing your YouTube channels. I'm also working on a course that I've been working on for months now. I just haven't put as much time and focus as I need to finish it. So those 2 things are other ways to help more people, right? Is creating videos, creating books, creating courses, things like that. All right. Okay, I'm gonna skip so many. Oh my gosh, look how many. See, this is what happens when you plan and prepare. Is like there's literally like over 100 questions, and like what was I thinking that I'm gonna ask myself or guess all these questions? It would be like an 8-hour episode, which might perform really well based on who it is. Okay. Okay, here's the outro, the real outro. Biggest work lesson you want to pass on. Like I said earlier, trusting that voice, right? And taking leaps of faith and recognizing that taking a risk is not really risky. It's not any more risky than not taking the risk, because not taking the risk, you're missing out on things as well, right? So just take those risks. All right, biggest life lesson you want to pass on. I'll repeat what I said earlier. For you to say yes to the vision you have in your work, in your life, in your career, whatever it may be, you have to have the ability to say no. And if you're like me and you like seeing people happy, you might be prone to people pleasing or saying yes to everything. But if you really want to honor that vision you have for your life, the vision maybe God has placed in your life, you have to be able to say no to a lot of things. And the more successful you get, the more no's you have to give. I think success is not saying yes to more things. It's saying no to more things so you can say yes to that one thing that matters the most. And then have a phrasing. And click this video for another episode of the Work Life Podcast, where we talk about work, talk about life, and all the lessons in between. It's so corny, but you know what? That really sums up what I want these videos to be. I just want them to be conversations. Like, these are the type of conversations I have with a lot of people. We just talk about work. We just talk about life and all the things we learn. That's most of those are the kind of conversations I love having. And so I want to share these conversations with you. And I'll be interviewing some YouTubers. I'll be interviewing a lot of people of influence, but I'm also interviewing just like people I care about, family and friends. I think this is a fun way for me to just like reconnect with people as well. So if you are an old friend of mine or a family member that I haven't talked to you for a while, maybe I'll have you on the show and we can just talk about it, talk about things, catch up on life. And I think I shared this with my mom, but I think it's super cool to film this type of video and this format, because it's like you're capturing a time in your life, and then you're sharing this conversation in this time of your life for both people, right? And so that's why I want to like just have these episodes where I'm like talking to my brothers and my family and my friends, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride. We'll see where it goes, but I definitely do know one thing: this channel will grow. I declare that. I also declare that this channel will have over 1 million subscribers. I don't know how fast that will happen, but it's just a matter of time. One thing I learned about YouTube is that if you just keep on improving the videos, if you keep on serving the audience, and you keep on improving over time, and you post videos consistently, whether it's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, even if you're posting once a month, but you're consistent with whatever that frequency is, it's like you're planting seeds. And then eventually you've planted enough seeds, and those seeds have grown over time. And now you have like a forest. That's a weird metaphor. But yeah, thanks for watching the Work Life Podcast. Talk to you later.